This video we're going to see about the document process in EDI. Last video we have seen about how EDI exactly works. There are three different steps in the process of sending EDI documents. First one is to prepare the documents, translate them into EDI format and transmit them to the partner. So three different steps. First, prepare the document, translate them into EDI format, standardized format, and transmit them to your partner. EDI documentations, like when you have giving you a better view of what EDI is. It's like it looks like a key part of what goes into EDI, the specific format. Right? And EDI document is comprises of three different cores or three different core pieces: envelopes, segments, and the data elements. There is a specific format to follow in EDI standards. The EDI standard documents such as 850 purchase order most to stick to formatting rule that defines the exactly where and how each piece of data is going to be. Those documents goes to the EDI translator on receiving computer can instantly follow all the key data such as buyer, company members or the company name, purchase order number, items purchased and the price. Then the data will be fed into suppliers order entry system into a proper internal format without requiring any manual entry. You no need to interfere in doing that transaction. Okay, so the EDI envelope first, how it is going to transmit. The transmission works like this. A system of three different envelopes also have three different to house a transaction set. First is the message envelope. Each transaction set into place set is placed in individual envelope. The message envelope is nothing but each transaction set is placed into an individual envelopes. Okay. Second envelope is like a group of transaction set. For example, a group of purchase order. Okay, purchase order is like placed in a group of envelope. The group envelope is mandatory. Okay, in ANSI it says the option is EDIFACT also. Group envelope is mandatory when you have more set of transaction. Okay, interchange envelope means all the group envelopes being sent from one sender to one receiver are placed into an interchange envelope. Just as a paper business document are sent into envelopes. Okay, it helps to mail many documents in a single envelope. EDI documents are exchanged using several envelopes. Okay, so here we are going to see how this works. See here. So here, just like this, you have the envelopes is formed in a pair of segments that defines a beginning and the end of appropriate sections. So here you have the transaction set envelope, group envelope and interchange envelope. So each purchase order in the different envelope and then you're grouping in, and that will be sent it in a separate interchange envelope which will be only from the sender and the receiver. So only the sender will be able to make this interchange envelope and send it to a receiver. Only receiver will be able to have the access to it. Okay, using the EDIFACT, the standard As an example, the transaction set envelope actually uses the UNH and UNP segments. Okay, the group envelope are going to use that GNE segments, that is interchange envelope, okay, which is going to be interchange between two parties, which is to transfer from one to another, which is to move. Okay, each case there will be an S indicates, that is start, and there will be E indicates, that E as an end. Okay, so we have something called segment. Segment is actually in a EDI transaction set is a group. Okay, EDI transaction set is a group like a data elements. Okay, if you are filling out the information on the purchase order, you would accept to see the groups of related data, right? So it could be about that purchase order number or date or the buyer's information or the items received or the summary of the sender. Each and everything will be recorded. If you're filling out the information on the purchase order, you would expect to see the group of related data. For example, the purchase order, which is only one item, right? Each item will be noted. All the four sections, like one here, purchase order, buyer, item, as well as the summary, will be the same, will be maintained for each and every document. EDI document, each section is described by a particular segment. Okay, so each section, each set of EDI segments will be describing on the purchase order. It will calculate on its own. Okay, so once the purchase order is done, it will take on its own as a next number on the day when the sale is happened in the company. It will be automatically registered here and then take that purchase order date also. What is the quality, quantity, everything will be recorded. Okay, so to start with, they will also have a certain code for each type of business documents. The segment that will include which one are mandatory. There are few optionals. Okay, so these four are the mandatory things as a format they need to mention when they are doing a purchase order. When the company is sending a purchase order to a supplier, they have to mention all these details and it is mandatory. The elements are defined in the standard format. Each standards will have their own documents. Okay, instead of the paper document, this is in the soft copy. That's all. Now, once all the segments are collected into a prescribed sequence, they form a complete electronic document. Next, the segment is the elements. See here, this buyer information should be in this corner only. This number should be in this corner only. There should be an item, and which are the item description has to be mentioned. The number of the product, how much cost, individual cost, or the quantity, quality, the summary of the product, and the seller's detail, everything where it has to be mentioned, that particular format will be maintained. Okay, next one is the data element. Data element is the EDI transaction set. Okay, set are the individual data in a document, such as the item being purchased, quantity, or the item purchase, etc. Okay, so here this particular document will be added, enveloped, and then it will be sent. Correct? So this envelope comes once you have that purchase order 1, 2, 3. Before that, you have to maintain the purchase order. This purchase order will be helping you in terms of packing it in an envelope. Before that, you need to have the elements, the data elements which required. So each and every word in that or each and every number in that will be coded. The set of individual data in the prescribed EDI transaction. Okay, that is nothing but the data element. For example, within many documents, purchase order, invoice will be found, right? It could be the city, state, item number, quantity, price, all these things. These elements are like set which the standard format. For example, it would be important to distinguish the numeric data from the text data. It could be on the date you will be having that particular code. Each and everything will be coded as per the ANSI EDI purchase data will have this format, will be encrypted, means not this here, this also has the same XYZ company but coded in this format. That is the address, right? So each and every word will be in the coded format and that will be transferred to the supplier, either ANSI format or EDIFACT format. As per US or UN, they will have a separate format to maintain the documents. Okay, so you can see the length of the code is more in EDIFACT and less in ANSI, right? American National Standardized Informations will be having a minimum code than the EDIFACT. Okay, now we are going to see about the implementation setup checklist, what we are going to do. Okay, the setting up your EDI infrastructure, aligning your EDI setup with your trade partner, and certifiable, adhering to the common standard. There are few common standards which we have already seen. So here we have the popular formulas like formats like X12, EDIFACT, TRADACOMS, or the used across industry to facilitate the business communication, while nature variations and the EDI format specifically specifies a transaction in a unique industry scenario. So for any global transaction, you need to maintain a standard. When it is electronic, you need to use this format. So this X12 is an EDI messaging transaction standard developed by the American National Standard Institute. This comprises a set of standard and corresponding messages that defines a specific business documents used in the varied industries today. Okay, it is based on the United States. The proud number of ASC is X12, and something called TRADACOMS is actually earlier standard of EDI, and it is primarily used in UK retail sector. It is originally one of the EDIFACT. It is one of the EDIFACT standards, and it is largely favored in the EDIFACTs. So before EDIFACTs comes, this was the older one version. EDIFACT is based on the United States, and we do have different elements in that. IATA Cargo IPM, IATA Cargo XML are also one of the format name. Okay, that's all about EDI. It is a format which we need to utilize in the international trade. When we are doing any transaction outside the country, we need to maintain these standards. Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for watching.